ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the second episode 6 of But Seriously. My name is Casey Johnson. Alongside me, as always, Richey Stevens.
I'm not a mom.
And Raven Stadmiller.
How you guys doing?
I could ask you the same question. How we been?
I've been pretty good. I weirdly enough had to work at a different store than I usually do last night, and I got told that as I walked in the door. And the other one's clear across town, so I had to find a ride in like 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
To get to the other store because nobody told me ahead of time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What's up with you, Rich?
I'm not a mom.
Swiffer.
Swiffer.
You're
Not sponsored.
That's
Yeah.
enough. Started playing Uncharted 4,
Yeah.
and I'm like loving every single second of it.
I was correct about it. I told you.
Dude, the prologue though. And
The whole game.
Yeah.
The prologue where you play as another famous Sony icon.
That's not the prologue.
the prologue.
It's not the prologue.
Oh, sorry,
And
spoilers.
it's not just a Sony icon; it's a Naughty Dog icon because
Yeah.
he was on Xbox as well. So
He was?
Yeah.
Huh, I don't know.
And
Microsoft actually owns the rights to the IP.
Really?
Yeah. Activision?
Yeah, it's Activision.
Huh.
Which, I mean, there are rumors he will be making a debut again, and let's look forward to E3. I'm hoping we get something on it. But no, we're a week away from, or a week post of.
We're in the middle of an interesting 2 weeks. Let's put it
Yeah.
that much.
Oh, hey, he has a little gun on his thing I can put here. Nope.
LOL. You dropped it.
Anyway,
I dropped the ball on that one.
It's not a ball.
It's not a ball.
The bullets are balls and the
Nope.
pistols.
Nope. It's not. Nope.
Well, I tried. I'm done.
All right. So, Raven.
Yes.
No, but yeah, it's. We're in the middle of an interesting couple of weeks.
Yep.
Of course, Emerge 15 was last week, so we were working that, with the exception, of course, of you. And, of course, lots more news on that front later. And then not only did something cool happen last week, something cool is happening next week. And actually, something cool happens today as they're hearing this too. So and we're about to run all that down here in just a minute. I will say though, you were talking about work last night. I had an interesting situation at work last night.
Do
A
tell.
couple of them.
Apparently, Richie's heard the story, and I'm really jealous.
No,
I haven't. It was
No,
my
he
guess.
hasn't. Yeah. Okay. So we're.
Okay.
This shows you how messed up Richie is. We're in the car headed here, and I said, hey, just so you know, I'm probably going to start off the podcast with a work story again, because last night, 2 things happened, actually, that I've never seen before, and I don't think I'll ever see again. And I said, one of them, for the record, probably your wildest guess. It's a little bit weirder.
Hold on. Before you say what I said,
I'm not going to say what you said. I'm not repeating that. You're going to say it.
So before I say what I said, I'm gonna tell you this. As soon as he said your wildest here, I was just throwing.
And I'm going to tell you this is
not.
not an excuse for this popping into your head. I'm going to tell you the fact that you started trying to think of something is not an excuse for the fact you thought about
This
this.
is pretty weird.
So then I look at him and I said, what's your wildest guess? And he says,
Mr. Friendly in a Speedo.
just like that, Raven. It didn't take him 6 seconds to think of that. Why exactly is this the first thing that pops into your head?
Because that'd be pretty weird.
Nope. I mean, nope. We're asking a lot of questions. We're not getting a lot of explanations here.
Well, he used to be the coach for the swim team.
Okay.
And
Now you're just naming facts.
And I was talking to my friend about swimming last night, so.
And the sky is blue like water.
Naked old men.
And you did kind of told me not to interrupt you as you were trying to look up the RCR report in the car ride down, so I was like, Like, what if I have a question? Yeah, the sky is blue, Richie.
Jesus. Anyway, so last night we had a couple interesting situations at the Cracker Barrel. Both of these, we have a host named Joyce who's been there for nearly 20 years at this point, and she has not seen either of these things happen before. So that's interesting. Number one, we had a kids menu brought back up to the host stand that had already been colored in when they got it. I don't even know how that happens.
Did they, like, when the customer was done, or the guest was leaving, did they just, like, kind of slide it into your pile and then you guys just handed it in?
What had happened probably is, I feel like it was just a joke that somebody had played. Somebody's just like, it's going to be funny.
It's got to be something. Man, I don't know. It's just...
How do you not notice it while handing it out, though? Is my question. Well, okay, my biggest question now, was it colored in well or was it bad?
No, it was bad.
It was bad?
Yeah, it was bad.
I've just done it.
And the reason we wouldn't notice is because they're folded up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then once they go out to the guests and they unfold and they color them, then we throw them away. We don't
Apparently not every time.
I don't... This is a really weird situation, obviously, but yeah, it's... And then that was not the weirder of the two.
Oh no.
I'm going to describe to you guys merely what I saw, and I will leave you to make your own inference about what happened, as I have done. Obviously, I cannot speak to what happened due to the fact that I didn't actually see it.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you what I saw, and that was a guy walk into the restroom at Cracker Barrel holding a Tupperware lid with a small pile of white powder on it, and then coming back out with a clean Tupperware lid. That's what I saw.
Maybe he had a stain on his shirt and it was OxyClean? I mean...
Which he would have just had with him.
You never know, there's some people...
Well, let's get down to the facts, Richie. There are people out there who enjoy snorting sugar, okay? You can't judge somebody based on what the...
Sour Patch? Like, the powder in a Sour Patch Kid.
Sugar. It's... The sour... Well, no, actually, wait. No, that's the sour, and then the sweet part is the kid.
And now,
Yeah.
I will say... I did ask his server about it, just to see if he started acting a little bit weirder, and he did. He was a lot more upbeat, apparently, after this particular trip to the bathroom. And I'm not telling you what I think happened. I'm leaving that open to interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
But I am telling you...
Was it an older gentleman, or was he a younger guy?
It was a middle-aged... It was not a middle-aged. It was about a 30-year-old Middle Eastern man.
When he came out, was he like...
Why are you interrogating?
It's narrowing stuff down.
I
mean,
doubt he was brushing his teeth. What was this?
well, some, like, after, like, in the movies, after someone, like, dips their finger in, like, Coke and stuff, they go, like, this afterwards.
To taste it, that's before you do the Coke.
Before or after, I don't care. Did he do it at all?
No.
It's really not...
It's typically... I'm not speaking from experience. I promise.
That's a lie.
It's typically done beforehand to taste the goodness of the Coke. But I still have a story that might top that from my old work days that I just remembered.
Okay, please.
All I remember is that I had a friend who was serving back home whenever I worked at Amazing Joe's. One of my friends swears up and down that one of his tables was having sex
Oh, I know this story.
at the table.
Really?
Story.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was talking to him. I'm working back in the kitchen, as I do, making food. And typically, yeah. No, I just go back there and just make food. I'm technically just homeless. This is just empty like all the time, so I just take it. But he comes back. He goes, so he's like, I need to talk to you about something. I'm like, what's up, man? He goes, I'm pretty sure that one of my tables out there is the couple's having sex. I'm like, what? It's like a Saturday night.
Interesting part of my day, right?
It's a Saturday night at like 10 or something. It's like late at night, and prime nookie time, and and so so he comes back. He's like, he's like, I walked over to the table, asked them if they want refilled on their alcoholic beverages, and I turn the corner, and I see her on his lap. And because they were the only people back in the back section.
Oh boy!
I see her on his lap, and as I turn the corner, she jumps off, and he throws his towel on his lap, and kind of awkwardly shifts and put his hand over it. And I was like, just wish him good luck.
I mean, those are prime nookie circumstances too.
Yeah, the only interesting story I really have is a customer got mad at the Geek Squad. I told him I said, "Have a nice day, sir," and he's like, "Drink bleach." I was like, "Okay, you too, sir."
That's not something you should say to a customer.
No, that's not a you too moment.
It's
No, it's
I've heard of bad YouTube moments like it's like enjoy your meal, you too. It's like I do that. I've never heard drink bleach, you too, and it been an accident.
It was an accident because every time I say "have a nice day," someone's like, "You have a nice day as well." I was like, "You too." Like it's an initiate, or someone will like, "Oh, have a good night" or "Enjoy your weekend."
You too.
You too.
See, my weirdest thing about that is that I've never said "have a nice day" and somebody says "you as well" and then me also reply "you too."
Yeah, I've never done that either.
Well, I'm weird. I have social anxiety. I have to talk to people.
That's a solid point.
Yeah, I guess. Either way,
I think I feel like my story tops you in some aspects.
I feel like they are stories of an equal level but in separate categories.
Yes.
Because I think mine about is probably third level up in the drug category.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see it. And I think yours is third level up as well in the nookie category.
Nookie category.
Because you didn't see the nookie.
I did not.
Well, I do have one more interesting thing, just because it seems to happen at Best Buy a lot.
Yeah.
Runaways like to go to Best Buy.
Yeah.
We've had in the past few months, we've had probably 4 or 5 runaways that come to my store specifically. I'm not going to say which store it is just because
Right.
liability issues, and it's just super awkward because it's like, what do I do? Because I don't have the parents' information. There was one time where the mom came in asking if I'd seen her kid, and then like 4 or 5 hours later, like an hour before we closed, he came in. And in the past 2 months, he's come in twice.
This is weird, man.
I was like, wow.
Well, it's a weird place, dude.
I'm so glad that we started off the podcast on this note.
Yep.
It's only gonna get better from here.
So anyway, we got an interesting schedule.
Woo! All right.
Yeah, we do.
Tell me about the schedule that I totally know everything about.
I don't know anything about because...
No, which actually reminds me, Richie, you and I do actually have some unfinished business from earlier. Because earlier you were seeking my guidance. Well, you weren't seeking my guidance, but I offered up my guidance as the expert here.
Okay.
As you do.
On how to pick up the ladies.
Oh, God.
And so
God.
I want to explain to you.
Explain what happened at Emerge.
No.
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 He's going to explain to you.
I was
No.
just gonna say the crew found out I'm not a ladies' man, so.
Yeah.
You're a man's man is what it is, but continue.
So I just because and it's like last week when I was down here recording, I almost through this tactic I almost stole Raven's girlfriend. And
It was
I didn't
true.
even mean to. But it just kind of happened.
She got the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah. So
I need to ask her about this.
So what you do is this: you've got to walk calmly up to the lady. You got to establish eye contact, and you've got to sound pleasant yet a little bit sheepish. just a little bit nervous.
It's a pinch.
And then you establish just a slight amount of physical contact, whether you gently take the hand or whether you set your hand on their shoulder. And you say, hey, I just wanted you to know, if you ever need a I'll give you that.
For further effect, you can try differing volumes, perhaps.
And then what you do is, as soon as you finish offering her, you turn around and you walk away. I promise you won't get out the door before she comes and she turns you around and she's like, I'm ready. And then just gotta.
But see, you have to fulfill the promise.
Yeah.
Because you can't
just
not
offer it in vain.
Yeah, you can't offer it and then she says,
be real
okay,
about
and
it.
then you not be good at it because it's not very polite of you.
Sometimes you just
12.5% of the time it works every single time.
sometimes you just need a.
I'm questioning life right now.
You should question whether or not you're going to give it to a lady next time. I mean,
And
or a man in this case.
ladies and gentlemen, this is the But Seriously podcast. Each week, three best friends gather around a table and we all bring a random topic of discussion for your amusement. Now, usually, we start off everything with the RCR report, which of course is the news you haven't seen on the news. But today we made a bit of a decision to not have an RCR report because we have a lot to report to you. Now, first things first, we probably need to address the elephant in the room, and by the elephant, I mean the mop.
Yeah.
Swiffer.
Okay.
I'm gonna correct you every time. I don't own a mop.
Mop is a Swiffer. Like, do you use it on the hardwood floor?
I don't have hardwood.
Or
Ding!
the tile in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Use it.
Yeah, but
it's a mop.
every okay, it's not a mop though.
Does it make the floor wet?
I give that. Let me tell you what.
And you wouldn't let me call my show Dick Pics. Okay.
Anyway, no, just on a very legitimate level, we as you guys have noticed, there have been weeks when we've not really been able to put up that much content, or in some cases, any content for a couple weeks.
Sorry.
And it's just because the three of us, it's extremely hard to make our schedules line up, as we've described to you multiple times. But it was last week that we all talked, and we kind of came to a decision where, like, if two of us can get together and the third one can't, we still got to do this.
Yeah.
We would much rather have content with two of us than
no content.
Yeah, and so sometimes I won't be able to make it. Sometimes Richie won't be able to make it. Raven's Place is the destination either way, so he'll be in.
I'll be here all the time because you guys love me.
Right, but so that was. I know some of you asked, and that was last week. Richie wasn't able to make it, and so there's no situation or anything.
We just felt like having a little bit of fun with it.
Yeah,
he told us to do it. Is the best part.
Yeah, it was. I'm just gonna get a mop with a beanie.
Yeah, and so here's the thing. I was talking to this earlier. I said, Richie, I will throw you under the bus, and I will tell them it was your idea. And he's like, well, was it really my idea? And I said, yes, because if I introduce something as a joke and you say do it, then it was your idea. That's how that works.
Yeah, he's got a fair point. I can't really deny that because, I mean, that was the exact conversation, so.
Yeah. Speaking of which, not even speaking of which, I'm really not even continuing a point. It's just kind of a new point, but...
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. We have... Today, actually, as they're watching this, is June the 11th.
Yep.
So... There is
Happy June 11th.
As you know, I cut out a rather significant portion, like a minute and a half of last week's episode, because I was too excited about something and I couldn't say anything about it. But today, actually, we have announced the documentary over on hopefully the Emerge Wrestling YouTube channel, youtube.com/Emerge Pro Wrestling, also on the Facebook. So go check that out. I'm not going to go into too many details here, but essentially we're doing a documentary about the birth of Emerge. We've interviewed pretty much all of the wrestlers. I've only got a few interviews I still need to get, and it'll be released later this year. Right at the beginning of August. We know that much. We don't know exactly what's going to happen with it yet, but it's going to be awesome.
I'm looking forward to the month of August now, Casey.
Yeah, I mean, we got so much stuff going on.
Suicide Squad, Killing Joke, the animated Batman movie, which I'm really looking forward to.
And it all the month starts with what is Emerge Week.
Yeah.
Which I can't wait for Emerge Week, which not all of Emerge Week we can talk about just yet.
No, not yet.
But it does start with, it starts on July the 30th with Emerge 16, and that entire week there's going to be Emerge-related stuff happening in and around Columbus, including something hopefully to do with the documentary we can't talk about quite yet. We still need to iron out some details there. And then next the Saturday after that, I don't know whether or not it will have been announced by this time. So what I'll say is, remember that thing we did last year? It could be happening again.
Yeah.
So, and this time, if it was even happening, which I have not confirmed or denied, it would be a lot bigger and a lot more people would be involved with it.
Yeah. I really hope this is gonna get confirmed.
Well, we already know whether or not it's going to happen. We just have to announce whether or not it's going to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Before Casey blabs about it.
Yeah.
Like you do.
No, like full disclosure. Like I said earlier, this is the second time we've done this. Later on last week, Raven and I were able to get together and record, and Richey was not, and so we're like, another podcast without Richey, concessions have to be made, but we before the air date we were able to get to it again, and we decided it'd be a lot better to just record with him, and who knows, maybe that footage someday will release, maybe someday, who knows, but
Blooper reels.
Yeah, exactly. And
just the entire pod.
The mop was really funny.
And
funnier than me. So.
I
took a nap.
And in that particular episode, I spilled pretty much every detail.
Every single bean that was possible. It's like you turned over the can and you took a spoon, like rattled it around.
Were any of them green?
I'm excited, blatantly ignoring what you just said. So, Emerge Week is interesting, but we had to tie it into Making Fun somehow.
Yeah.
So that brings us to Emerge Month on Making Fun.
Yes.
And Emerge Month, though, again, we've not ironed out all the details quite, but Emerge Month is essentially, for the entire month of July, we're going to get as many Emerge workers, wrestlers, and personalities on Making Fun content as we possibly can. We've already got some stuff working that we're working on, and I will tell you, and this is the goal, but we will have a podcast hopefully every week in the month of July with an Emerge worker.
Yes.
So that'll be great.
Well, no, we will. Every week for the month of July, because you work at Emerge.
Right. No.
So we're gonna have.
No, that's not.
I'm not wrong.
Exactly. You're not incorrect. You're also a bit of a douchebag.
Don't take my job.
That's
you weren't.
true.
You're right.
It's called gimmick infringement in our industry.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. I just had to.
But you did not have to. But yeah,
I have to.
We've already got a couple things lined up, and we are looking forward to it more than you could possibly imagine. So.
Oh, you have no. I almost spilled it, but I'm not going to.
It's
I'll just
it's
say
gonna be awesome.
I talked to.
You're excited.
to 2 different people, and I'm really looking forward to the 2 we're possibly going to bring on.
Yeah. And full disclosure, who knows really if Raven will be able to make all of them, but either way, we're always going to have at least 3 people around this table, and that's going to be great.
Yes.
Sometimes 4, you never know.
Yeah.
That's gonna be real hard. I'm gonna be honest.
mean,
We'll see
I
the rest of it
only
between
I
Casey
only
and I.
own 2 of these mics anyway.
Yeah, I wasn't even talking. I was talking about trying to fit a 4th person here mostly, but we do need
True.
another mic.
Move to the couch.
I fall asleep on my couch. I want you to know, the couch is comfy.
It really
That's where we
is.
record our
That
Let's
is a
Plays.
comfortable
Really
couch.
comfy.
So from things that are happening in the past to things that are literally, my friends, a week away.
I was gonna do that, and then I realized it was Richie's thing, and I didn't want to be gimmick infringe me.
That's why I took it.
Gimmick infringe me.
Don't gimmick infringe me, guys. No,
We are headed next week, guys. Next week, to Indie PopCon, which we are so excited about.
It's gonna be a long. The first day is gonna be really long. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Because Casey and I have to leave Columbus by
5 at the latest.
5.
Well, no. See, okay. So I'm gonna tell you guys what's going on. So badge registration on Friday starts at 7 a.m.
So we have to leave Columbus by 4:30 at the latest.
a.m. They have to leave by then. That way we can get in a reasonable spot. So that way we can park and walk over with everything.
Correct.
We're not even going to be able to unload our car to go to the hotel.
No, we can't. We can't unload our car until after we go to the hotel.
But on the way up, Casey, I'll let you take that one because this is
Yeah.
your thing.
So the first thing I thought of when I found out we were going to be going down up there is that I wanted to record a podcast in the car.
Super excited.
I've seen it happen before, and it's always been great. And so the next episode, guys, of But Seriously after this one will be on the 18th, and it will be us in a car headed to Indie PopCon at like 5 or 6 in the morning.
We are going up at 5 or 6 in the morning. It is going to be kind of harder to do, so we're not going to have video footage on
Correct.
it. It's just going to be an MP3 file.
Right. That's well, no.
No?
No, that's incorrect, as I've explained to you, actually. But no matter.
No, I'm talking about the SoundCloud thing, not the actual...
Spoiler alert.
Well, you kind of...
You took the thunder.
And I love how you were like, I'm going to let you say this. And then you're like, wait a second. I know exactly
I'm gonna let you
what I'm
finish.
doing
Do I
here.
need
But-
to remind you Spider-Man?
I don't care. No, I never said I was going to be quiet during Spider-Man.
No, not that. Not that.
Guys, it's dark at 5 a.m. No matter where in the world you are, it's dark at 5 a.m. So it's going to be real hard to record our faces.
Yeah.
So our compromise, we're just going to record audio only, and we're going to have hopefully have our fancy graphic.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have a graphic up so you can just listen to it. And as Richie mentioned,
You dropped the ball.
we actually when we started making fun, we gobbled up the
name
username
on
everywhere
everything we could. Yeah.
We got a Twitch.
We have a Twitch.
Yeah.
That one I knew about.
No.
We have a Twitch.
I asked you, I was like, should we get a Twitch? And you're like, I mean, we may as well reserve the name. So we got a Twitch.
To be fair, that was probably like at 12 o'clock at night.
I was like half asleep, probably.
And one other thing that we do have is a SoundCloud.
Yeah.
So not only will you be able to watch the video on YouTube, you'll actually be able to listen to this one on SoundCloud. And my hope is to be able to post all of our podcasts going forward on SoundCloud.
Yes.
Which, in theory, shouldn't take too long.
No.
But either way, that's what we're going for. And overall, I'm just really excited for Indie PopCon.
I am too.
It's going to be great.
It's gonna be so much fun.
The meet and greets, like the few that I'm going to go to, are what I'm looking forward to, the wrestling.
The wrestling show is going to be a lot of fun.
Oh
Yeah, I heard you had a fun experience with wrestlers last.
Again, will not have been aired by this time.
It will not?
No.
Oh, never mind.
Look forward to me cringing a lot. That's all I'm going to say.
This is what I get for missing
Yes.
a few weeks with you guys.
This is what you get for trying to act like you know things. This is when you're like,
I know this
I
thing.
can fake this,
No,
and that's
you
never
can't.
worked out well.
I mean, I didn't know that it would have been aired by this point. Because I don't know what our air schedule is.
Exactly. No, thank you for saying exactly my point.
Okay.
I,
Okay, fam.
But no, they'll see it. Never mind. I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm just gonna drop it because
it'll be this week.
it will be this week.
Yeah.
Okay.
And by this week, I mean this week on the
Post.
video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The week before, like the week leading up to PopCon.
Yes.
Okay.
And speaking of the PopCon podcast, actually, I just kind of had this epiphany last night and brought it up to the guys, and they love it. PopCon is the 17th to the 19th, and the 14th to the 16th is the biggest event in video gaming, E3.
Yes.
And so we're all going to stay up to date, hopefully, on the press conferences
Yep.
and the news from E3. And we're not going to have an RCR report. We're not going to have any topics we're going to talk about. Our next show is going to be the E3 recap.
So how we all, we always have this set schedule. Like we were always like, this is how the shows are gonna go. We're throwing all that out the window. We're gonna not even have video, and we're gonna talk about stuff that in a way that we usually don't. So look forward to that. We're all gonna be nerding out because there are a lot of rumors. I figured out they're making a second Watch Dogs game.
Yep, that's
I was super
never in doubt.
I was super surprised.
Do you, speaking of like the Ubisoft titles,
Yep.
Do you think we're gonna probably get a look at Assassin's Creed Egypt?
They're coming out with another Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah, they pushed it out of this because it was one that was gonna come out this year, but they're like, no, we're gonna take a break.
I think they're going to do
No.
Watch Dogs this year, and they're
Yeah.
going to hide Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
I
because they've
know that-
released an Assassin's Creed game every year since 3, I think.
Yeah.
And they released ever since like Brotherhood or
Yeah, they've released one every year, and the quality has slowly gone down. Like I'm playing through Syndicate.
No,
I'm not
Syndicate
saying
was good.
I'm not saying I'm playing through Syndicate right now, and I love it. I just started today. I was like on like the second level. Don't glare at my statue of what's his name.
Exactly.
I was the worst part is
No. I want you to try to think of his name.
I don't even remember his name because I just don't care. The only thing I cared about in that game was going to the top of the Tower of Notre Dame.
Notre Dame Cathedral. There isn't a tower.
The bell towers of Notre Dame.
Oh, solid.
I went to the top.
What is his name? Do you remember?
Nope.
I'm looking it up.
No, but I'm playing through Syndicate right now, and I walked in. Like the guys walked in to record, and I'm sitting there playing it, and I'm having a blast.
And I'm just like, what part are you at?
I'm like the beginning, and the tutorial showed up as I said the beginning.
And it says how to be an assassin. I was like, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
But no, I mean we're gonna talk about it. I knew there's a second Watch Dogs game coming out. I'm real excited. Arno. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
We're gonna look it up.
It's Arno.
Arno.
There are no flaws in our plan. His name is Arno. High five me.
Nope.
High five
Nope.
me. High five
That
me.
What is his full name?
Arno. McArno. No.
Arno Victor Dorian.
No. I'm real excited for the news about the new Zelda game that's coming out. I'm excited. I'm excited for the new news about the NX. Hopefully, we get an actual name rather than the play name.
Hold on.
From what I understand, it's not gonna really. There's not gonna be too much about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
So I'm gonna go ahead and say this. Casey called it.
Yep.
With
What's
Zelda.
up? What's
Yeah.
up?
So I'm gonna talk about this because I'm frustrated about how right Casey was.
Casey's always right.
No, like he was on the dot, called it. Him and our ring announcer Chris Lowe were just like, "This is what's gonna happen."
Yeah.
So
I mean,
to the exact
Chris didn't start out believing me, but eventually he saw the light.
So This conversation sparked back when a few months ago, right when Twilight Princess was coming out. The HD remake.
Which I haven't played through yet. I'm really sad.
I was really looking forward to.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I want to get a Wii U just to play this game. He was like, don't, just wait a few more months, get the NX when it comes out, because it'll play that title, plus it'll play the new Zelda game, because they're going to release it for the Wii U and the NX.
Yep.
But it's going to be like the Super Deluxe Edition, kind of like what they did with Twilight Princess originally from the GameCube to the Wii.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, they're like, Zelda U is also going to be called Zelda NX. I was like, great.
And I'm kind of sad because I was looking forward to that title forever. But, like, I understand why they're doing it.
That's the thing. People bought Wii U's. The very few people who bought Wii U's, a lot of them bought it for Zelda U.
Yeah.
A lot of people bought it for that. Zelda U and Mario Maker.
Looking back on the Wii U, I'm not disappointed because there are quite a few games on the Wii U that I really appreciate.
I actually played Star Fox.
Is it good?
It's really fun.
A lot of people hate it.
Everybody hates that game.
I'm not a fan of Star Fox.
But the reason I've heard that a lot of people dislike it is because of motion controls.
Yeah.
Motion controls is actually really fun.
I'm about to say anything that has motion controls, people hate automatically. Which
I started out like just boycotting because of all the reviews
that's not fair though. I think it's fair to a certain extent, but
there are some games like that people do that it works really well. Like
exactly.
Especially anything VR territory. VR motion controls are phenomenal.
Yeah, and it's like it's not that these are motion controls; it's that these are really bad motion controls.
It's like the gyroscope for
the gamepad.
Well, I was thinking the Zelda games, but on crack. Like, it's awful.
Yeah.
But once you get past it and get used to it, it's actually really fun.
See, I like the idea of you being in the cockpit.
Once you get that Stockholm syndrome.
Once you end up like the guy in a Cracker Barrel. Just, if you get on crack, it's okay.
As soon as you snort some coke, it's fine.
I'm doing great.
No, but we have that news. We're supposed to hear some more news about some other Nintendo titles, not on the stage, but
it'll be Watch Dogs as well, probably. And no, not on the stage.
No, the only thing that we're hearing about Nintendo from their stage is all we're hearing.
They're not doing a stage.
Oh, they never do.
There's
Why
no
do I
press
ever?
Conference. They're not even.
They're having it. Are they doing a direct?
They're not even having a direct.
Really?
They're just like hosting like an open event where they do like a playthrough of Zelda U and like a couple other things. Nothing about the NX, just a few games.
I know that they are doing a treehouse. They're doing a treehouse that Saturday where they're going to talk about.
That's pretty much it.
They're talking about the new Pokemon game, which.
And then they're going to have their own event. They're going to have their own event later this year where they talk about the NX.
Yeah. Because the NX is slated for March. If the NX comes out on the 27th of March, you guys gotta help brother out because that's my birthday. Shout outs to me and
go fund me.
Go fund me, fund my birthday so I can get an NX and not be a broke college student. Did you just?
I did.
I do have a question because you guys
do it.
You not really Raven, but you've probably done more research on this. Is Square Enix having a press conference this year, or is
I don't think so. No.
Or the Square Enix title is going to tie into the Xbox, the Microsoft, and Sony.
That's what I would assume. I don't think Square's having a press conference.
What I'm really hoping for
Kingdom Hearts 3.
No, I was actually going to say Final Chapter. I want to get a release date for that. Or 2.8 Final Chapter.
Oh yeah.
The one before 3.
The one that has Birth by Sleep.
Dream Drop.
Oh.
Birth by Sleep was in 2.5.
Yeah, which that's only the cutscenes, isn't it? No.
It's the
it's 358. That's all only cutscenes.
Recoded in 358. Recoded was in 2.5,
and then
358
was 1.5. Yeah.
While we're talking about E3 though, you look at like Nintendo, no press conference. EA, not even going to be at E3.
Really?
No.
They're not even going to talk about Andromeda. That's weird.
No.
Hopefully we get a
PlayStation is leaning more toward Gamescom announcements and PSX announcements. I'm personally of the opinion E3 is either dying or changing very soon.
Yeah, they have to.
Because with the connected world that we have right now, there's no reason for a summit, except for the grandeur of it. And when these multi-billion-dollar corporations figured out we can just rent our own theater at any time and do it like.
Well, and it's also the thing of information about these companies get leaked really fast.
Yeah.
No matter how hard they try to keep it a secret, it gets leaked really fast.
Like
because
Nintendo,
someone in the company.
like Pokemon Company. Well, this isn't as much of a leak because usually like the names of the new Pokemon games are leaked like a little bit before it happens, and like Pokemon Company tries so hard for nothing to happen. Like they waited until the day before they released the trailer. They waited to like 24 hours before they released the trailer to trademark the game names. They didn't have Sun and Moon trademarked until 24 hours before they announced the trailer.
Wow.
Yeah. It was like they're just like we don't want anybody to know and
it's nothing on the Pokemon games. I'm getting kind of worn out on them.
a lot of people are, and I mean
they're still fun. I'll still probably pick it up and buy it. It's just I'm kind of
all those starters are super cute, and you shut your mouth.
Oh, I know. I'm going water type like I do every time. But
Poplio, he's so happy.
he looks like a circus animal.
Casey's,
I love it.
he looks like a circus clown, like a circus sea lion.
Okay.
Casey doesn't care.
No, he'll probably get an owl.
There's a
Or
hair.
Arno.
Oh, I was
Arno.
gonna say,
Arno.
Arno had an actual human hair on him.
It's probably mine.
I was gonna say it's not mine because there's not a lot left.
But no, I mean, I'm really looking forward to all the stuff at E3.
I think I'm kind of drawing away from Microsoft more and more each year, and I look forward to Sony's more.
Interesting note about Sony's.
Will Craig Miller be there?
Well, he'll be in the audience, I'm sure, but
yeah, I know that, but I didn't know if you Mike was set up.
it's not that important yet. But somebody who is important, Shuhei Yoshida, sent out a tweet just a few days ago that said, "Don't like your PSN name changes coming, winky face."
That was a Photoshop, I thought.
With as much as it circulated around, I don't think it was.
Oh, because it was on the Kind of Funny Facebook page, and the guy apologized. He was like, "Do you guys hate me from last night?" And people were asking, and he said it was a Photoshop picture he made.
Oh, I don't know. I saw it a couple different places.
Yeah, I don't know.
I hope
But like, it's time. It's so time. Like, and it says something like Colin says all the time on Kind of Funny, like, I don't care what the issue is. I don't care if it's part of the code that you built from the ground up, which it probably was. That's probably why this is that way. It is time to fix it.
Yes.
You figure it out. Spend money figuring it out. This is the most requested thing through the entire company.
Yeah.
It was like, tell us more about The Last Guardian. Let us change our name.
Yeah.
Like,
not even in that order sometimes.
Yeah.
It was like
and I mean, as I'm scrolling through the Kind of Funny Facebook page, like all the time, people are putting screenshots of online games they're playing with. And some of them were from Uncharted since it is the new release. And some of the names are just...
Yeah.
They went, like Granny Queef, I think, was one of them. I was like, what in the world?
see, but names like that, they're not going to change it because they think that's funny.
Yeah. Well...
Yeah. But it's...
Now you're getting, though, the all the 9-year-olds who thought that was funny now.
And now they're like
18-year-olds.
17.
Yeah. And, like,
Which is weird.
Granted...
Was the PS3 out 10 years ago?
PS3 came out when we were in the 4th grade.
That's weird.
It came out 4th grade because my buddy Brian, who used goes to IUPC, he got his when he was in 5th grade. He's a year older than us because I remember talking to him about it, and like all the games he got were like the big movie games, and I think one of them that we always talked about was Spider-Man 3.
Was it bad?
As a kid, I really enjoyed it. Well, I played through it like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, "This is horrible."
Yeah, that's how most games from childhood go.
And like to your point, Colin and Greg, back when they did Beyond, and now that they have PS I Love You, they have a segment on there every week, the bad PS4, like the PSN name of the week, and people write in there like, "This is my name. This is why I chose it. Shuhei, please, for the love of God, let me change it."
So, I kind of lucked out on mine. I didn't get my first PlayStation 3 until it was the summer between junior and senior year of high school. I always had a PSP though, So like on there, it didn't require me to like make a game or make an actual PSN name. Except when the different games that were multiplayer, it's like, okay, create your own like name and everything. So that was cool. But when I logged in on the PlayStation Network, it's like, choose your name. I was like, I thought I did this when I had my PSP and I first got it. I didn't. So I chose something that like it's a gamer tag I use on everything, which is Tropical Riddle.
Right. I mean, obviously, I don't really have any desire to change my name or anything, but a lot of people do, and I think it's time to figure it out. And on the topic of things that people need to figure out, I think that kind of brings us to your topic. Yeah.
Okay.
No, the person behind you.
Yeah.
Arno. It's Arno's topic. Arno, what's your topic?
Arno,
He
what's your
relates
topic?
to the topic because
He does.
That's why I chose
I
him.
knew
No,
it
he
was.
he didn't even get past the first part of your topic.
No. So my topic was
Was.
Well, originally I wanted to cast the Infamous movie, and I talked to you both about this, but you're
We don't know actors.
Yeah.
No, I
you
don't.
know actors, and Raven brought up some really good points of, is this going to be based off the video games? Like, is it going to follow the game storylines, or is it going to follow?
Yeah, it's
our
really
own
hard.
There's
Yeah.
too many open-ended parts to it to be able to cast that properly.
Yeah. So it brought me to the idea of, if any game became a movie, what are your top two to save the video game movie industry?
Digimon and Pokemon.
Yeah, my exact answers.
The two I banned because those are two successful franchises on their own.
Did
Final
you hear that?
answer.
Did you hear that?
Digimon and Pokemon.
Well, I mean,
Did you hear that first answer? Are you sure Digimon's successful? They're coming back, but I don't know. It's Pokemon.
honestly, the cartoons back in the 90s/early 2000s were awesome.
Yeah, and not to mention that they're coming back. They made the movie. They made Digimon I think is what it's called.
I want a I want a Digido movie, and I want a Pokemon movie.
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Digidoody.
But I mean, the Pokemon movies, none of them were really released in theater except for the first one.
They were released in theaters, just not in American theaters.
Well,
every single Pokemon movie is released in Japan, but it's just like there isn't.
We got Dragon Ball in theaters for the first time.
Oh,
Did we actually get?
boy.
Dragon Ball Z, yeah. Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods and
Did we-
Resurrection F.
Apparently, those two movies are not canon anymore. I know
But they aren't.
I know GT for sure isn't canon anymore.
No, GT is not canon because they came out with Dragon Ball Super, which is completely destroying the timeline of GT.
Which makes me sad because SSJ4 was my favorite, and
GT was bad, but I enjoyed it.
I just liked SSJ4. Like out of that, like that transformation was cool. But anyway, moving into it, let's see. You gave me time to prepare this, and I didn't.
So do you want Casey and I to talk about our
Yeah.
All right.
Because I know both of mine are Sony topics. Or Sony movies.
Just go ahead.
Oh, I know one of them already.
Uncharted and Infamous are the two. I really wanted to. And Casey and I had a really
Okay,
cool
so
idea.
if we do Infamous, can we have Troy Baker as Delson?
Okay, hold on.
we're going.
Hold on. First of all, yes.
Yeah.
But secondly, I just like to point out how ironic that statement is that you just said.
I know.
You're like, hey, how about we cast it now?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, I think Troy would do a great job.
But I don't.
Obviously.
If we did the Infamous movie, I don't want to start off with the storyline for Second Son. I want to capture Cole's story. Because Casey and I, we talked about this before, and I thought it was a really cool idea.
I'm Casey.
No, you're Raven. Stop.
I'm Casey.
But
I'm Raven.
I'm Casey.
In different theaters, in the different theaters, or like in the same theater but different showings, have the good ending and the bad ending.
Yeah, but
Could be interesting.
my thing about that is that they're not going to do it because that's like, super expensive, and that
Vin
order.
Diesel will be Cole.
Yeah. But and then honestly, that's my second pick.
Seth Rogen as Cole's best friend.
Zeke.
Zeke.
Yeah.
Seth
Yep,
Rogen is
there we
Zeke.
go.
There it is.
Never mind.
We're gonna cast it.
Cast it. No, we did it.
We did the thing we said we weren't gonna.
Known as Cole's girlfriend. Yeah.
You just want Emma Stone in this movie.
Shut up.
Either way, move on.
But
Uncharted is actually my number one pick because I would love to see an Uncharted movie.
but why though?
Well, because Uncharted is such a popular franchise.
Exactly.
Uncharted is just if Tomb Raider and Indiana Jones met. If you did the
if Tomb Raider being the girl, just call her Tomb Raider. It's like, hi, I'm Tomb Raider.
I'm talking about the
crash
two
on my
franchises, stupid.
I know.
But no, like, okay, I feel like you've got to. Okay, so video games, most of the stories we tell in video games are inherently based off of movies.
Yeah.
And so if you make a movie based off of something that is based off a movie, that movie most likely will end up being just
Ratchet and Clank.
level.
I saw the Ratchet and Clank movie, and it was really good.
Doubt
I really
it.
enjoyed it.
Okay, Rich. No, but that, like you were saying, if it's a movie based off a game based off the movie,
So-
it's Ratchet and Clank.
So Uncharted is like this cool reimagining of the treasure hunter genre. But if you got in a theater and you saw an Uncharted movie, it would be like, oh well, this is like kind of a weak plotted Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
And it would just like at that point just call it Indiana Jones. I think if you're going to get ideas for games that could be movies, either it has to be a franchise that is so big that it transcends gaming, or it has to be something that we truly haven't done in movies that well at the very least.
Honestly, I'd like to see a Crash Bandicoot movie.
That has 3 picks. You said 2.
I'm gonna throw 3 in.
I said 3 just because it was harder to come up with a third
To
one,
your
so.
PlayStation point, I'm gonna say, and they've been talking about this for years, but I'm gonna straight up go The Last of Us.
But wouldn't people just look at it and be like, this is a Walking Dead ripoff?
Not necessarily.
No, because it's
Because
it's thematically kind of like The Walking Dead, but how you interact, the number one, the human interaction is a lot different, and number two, the interaction with the actual beings themselves, they're a lot different.
the game is wonderful. I've played through that game probably 5 or 6 times, including the Left Behind DLC. Super fun. And like all the cutscenes are just beautifully well done. It could be a movie already if it wanted to.
Yeah.
So
And we do have to wager there that any franchise we throw out that might be good only just might be good.
Yeah.
It has to be. But my other two, number one, my number 2 pick brings us to Arno here, because I'm really interested to see actually, because Assassin's Creed has been my pick for a long time.
And is happening.
Yeah, it's happening. And number one, I think it's got the right actors in it that
Yes.
can do it. I think it's got a good kind of studio behind it, working on it. It's got a director that I like.
Who's
And no idea, but I remember that I like him.
But
Yeah, go ahead. But like Assassin's Creed, when the games started to come out, people were like, "Oh, that's a cool idea." It wasn't something that we had really the combination of the gameplay and the set pieces isn't something that we had seen before. Who is it?
Justin Cuzrell.
Right.
what else has he done?
Justin has directed the Macbeth movie that starred Michael Fassbender in it, who plays Magneto and is playing our guy. But other than that, he's not really done a lot. He's done the Snowtown Murders and Blue Tongue, which was a short, and The Turning in 2013. Those are the only movies he's directed, but he has not really written a lot, edited a lot. He's actually not really that well known. Like, he doesn't have a lot on his IMDb.
It seems as though, from what I've seen of him, that he's good.
Yeah.
I watched the Macbeth movie, and it was excellent. But then again, I am a Shakespeare nut.
Right. Well, I mean, was that the one with?
It had Michael in it as well.
Okay.
It has Magneto in it as well, because it's the same guy who plays Magneto in the
Right.
first class, did Goose Pass, and
But no, like I said, when Assassin's Creed first came out, people were like, "That's a cool idea," not just from a gameplay perspective, but from a story perspective. We've not seen things like that, stories told before. So when not only are the video game nerds going to see it, but when people see the trailer, people who don't even know anything about video games will be like, "That looks like actually like a really cool action movie. That's a cool idea." So I think it'll do a lot better than most.
just from the trailer they showed, which wasn't considered a full trailer, it was just a teaser trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks super
Beautifully well
cool.
done.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm excited about the Animus. That's the thing I'm most excited about.
that's where I had my complaint at first, but the more I think about it, the more I like it, because when I think of the Animus, I think of someone laying in the...
Yeah.
It's a cool adaptation of it from motion picture, and that's what I think looks the most promising, because is that exactly like the games? No, it isn't, but is that the correct adaptation for a motion picture?
Yes.
I think it is.
I liked the most how like it looks like he can move in it, and that's what surprised me the most.
That's where I was like, I don't know, because is this like going to end up killing someone
Well, it's
inside
like-
the test room?
First of all, it's Abstergo, so if he did, what would it matter? Secondly,
They just get the
I looking on it now, I've always been like, if you're in the Animus and like, so for instance, the main character from the first three, Desmond, like he was
Nolan North.
he would just lay down and then he'd wake up and he's like, I know all of these moves from running around in my mind. Whereas in the movie, he's actually doing them, so he actually commits them to memory.
What's her name? Kristen Bell's character. I can't think of her name because she died, and I was happy.
Spoiler alert.
The game's been out for how many years?
Yeah,
now?
that's a statute of limitations issue.
How long is the statute of limitations?
Like 3 to 4 years.
Okay.
And it depends on...
Lucy, that's her name.
Yes.
Yeah. It depends on how important the moment was. Like...
That was the most important movie of that game. Moment of that game.
Right.
was
Well,
the
no,
ending
I mean culturally.
Oh, okay.
So like the Luke, I'm your father moment, like that. There's a little bit longer on that you kind of need to.
But the whole thing about in the second game, she trains him a little bit.
Yeah.
So he doesn't just know all of this.
Yeah,
right
that's
off
true.
from Getting in the Animus. He goes through training with her, because I remember the.
Though obviously you'd pick things up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you pick some stuff up, like reliving your ancestor's life, but I mean, who wouldn't want to live Ezio's life? That was awesome. Other than his family getting slaughtered, but still.
Now, my third one,
Yes.
and my number one pick. And this is one I've always kind of want to see adapted. Obviously, the whole you'll be able to throw in this immediately is that there are 1,000 movies like it, and it'll be, to a certain extent at least, just like those movies.
Oh no.
But I think this franchise is big enough and important enough that it does exactly what I said earlier, which is transcends gaming. It's a pop culture phenomenon, and I would go personally with Grand Theft Auto.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
As
yeah.
soon as you said there's 1,000 movies like it, I'm like, this is Grand Theft Auto, and I'm going to agree with him 100%.
Yeah.
It's such a good idea, especially because over time they've become such good storytellers. Like you were saying
Yeah, exactly.
last
First
week.
of all, the people from Rockstar have to write it.
Yes. Oh, of course.
They have to write it. That's what I'll say there.
The cutscenes in 5 alone are just absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's 3 different stories to follow in that game.
Yeah, and it's like I was talking with Raven in either the podcast that will never see the light of day or one that's already up.
Yeah, there's a
On
50-50
making fun.
shot
Yeah.
that you guys have that's been up.
I would refute, because he always does this whole, but it's not the same experience because you're not controlling it. And
Yeah.
I would refute that by saying stuff like that. Like Grand Theft Auto, people who love the games have watched the entirety of the cutscenes as game movies on YouTube.
So I'm actually going to change my third answer from Crash Bandicoot. Since you brought up a Rockstar game, a Red Dead movie would be really fun to do too.
As long as you could make it not just another Western.
Yeah, like the storyline for Red Dead Redemption alone was amazing. Like,
Yeah, like, and that'll have to be like, that is one of those great idea, great franchise, not as big as Grand Theft Auto, so they'll have to rely more on the movie actually being good and being different than Grand Theft Auto would.
have you already thought of your topic, or not your topic, but your movie?
Yes. So my first idea now that you brought up Rockstar.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with another
Red
Rockstar. No, actually, I was gonna go with LA Noire.
Ooh.
Because if anybody has played that game, it's already movie-like enough. There's a lot of cutscenes.
The facial interaction.
That's what I was about to say. The facial interaction allows the audience to feel like they know what's going on. I think that would make a really cool movie adaptation. And there hasn't been many movies like that.
I was gonna say
Back to that specific era.
No.
There's only one or two movies I can think of.
Mhm.
One of them is an actual part of the storyline for LA Noire, which is the
Black Dahlia Murder, yeah.
Fantastic movie.
Which is such a good arc in that game, by the way.
And it's one of my favorite arcs. I believe that's on the 360. It's disc 2. I don't know if PlayStation.
It's disc 2.
Okay.
It's the second arc, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Back to our anime
but
talk.
Also, Gangster Squad.
I haven't seen that one.
If you haven't seen that, it's got Ryan Gosling, Josh Brolin, who is the voice of Thanos, Sean Penn, and my girl Emma Stone.
Josh Brolin, who hosted the best episode of Saturday Night Live ever.
Yes, that.
And it is the most underappreciated episode of Saturday Night Live that I've ever seen. And people were like, I almost feel like Josh Brolin wasn't there because they didn't make him star in everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was just there. And every sketch was quality and everything was good. And the Weekend Update was fantastic. And, go find Josh Brolin's episode of Saturday Night Live and watch it. I think it was the second time he had hosted.
Yes, it was 2013.
Yeah, I forget
what. It was
what.
right when Gangster Squad actually was coming out. Because I remember watching it, and he even in the monologue talks about Gangster Squad. He's like, "Oh, don't forget to see my new movie, Gangster Squad."
Yeah, with the slow motion hallway was one of my favorite.
That was amazing. But another unappreciated, because we're on that topic now. I was gonna say Ryan Philippe's.
That I've not seen.
There is one sketch on there that I personally love, and I can't find anywhere. I've watched that episode 1,000 times on Netflix, and I still can't. I feel like I either miss it or they just deleted it. But it was a group of guys sitting outside Lincoln Monument, drinking beer and everything, and they're listening to the song Breakfast at Tiffany's. And every time the chorus comes up, they sing the chorus, but then they get back in and he was like, my son just doesn't get it. I mean, I beat the hell out of him about 8 times now, and he just still doesn't get it.
I wonder why you can't find it anywhere.
No,
it was a very controversial,
but I'll say...
It was really funny. It was... I can't remember what... and I'm just subbing in to beat the hell out of it. I don't know the exact, but, never mind. Casey,
which, Keenan actually does something like that on Update now.
Keenan Thompson does?
Yeah.
No, the other Keenan.
Just because...
He did it, I think, with a couple maybe political topics or whatever. It's the same thing. He would say a bit or something, then he would sing the chorus from that, or yeah. But I mean, again, I want to of course give some love again to Dr. David Buggles.
We made Raven watch that.
Most underappreciated skit of all time, and I'll say most underappreciated Weekend Update bit of all time is one with Finesse Mitchell from about 2003, and it's just a stand-up bit, but he talks about going to his local theater to see Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, except there's an entire 13-year-old's birthday party in there, and they are all inner city teens, and they are not happy that there are subtitles, and they're like, no one told me I had to read.
That's me during a Quentin Tarantino.
And then, the apparently, and I challenge you to find it, but one of the parts talks about how they would read out loud and point at the screen, and it would be like, that ring does not belong to you, and they wouldn't get to the end of it before the next, and they'd be like, slow it down. It's one of the most hilarious bits I've ever seen. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a way to do a video game movie right.
Yeah. My second one. Now that we have LA Noire, I just love the series of Jack and Daxter as a whole. I've always loved Jack and Daxter. It was so sad that I fell out because I didn't have a PS2 when the 4th one came out. Fun fact, there was a 4th one.
There is a 4th one? I thought
yes.
It was just a racing one.
No, there's one after the racing one.
Really?
There's one set after Jack 3, but it came out around the hype of the PS3. It was one of the very last games to be released on the PS2.
I've never seen that. I'm going to have to look it up after this.
I never got to play it. I played 1, 2, 3 racing. I even played Daxter for the PSP.
Which was a really fun game.
It was a lot of fun.
I honestly, when I was a kid, I wasn't too big into the Jak and Daxter franchise just because I didn't remember it.
Here's the thing about Jak and Daxter, though. Same issue with Jak and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank, where people are like, dude, those graphics are so good. It looks like a Pixar movie. And then that's exactly what it looks like, except it doesn't have that brand attached to it. And so people are like, Pixar ripoff. Because you've got to be able to appeal to people who aren't gamers here.
Yeah.
And I just don't think it's different enough.
Yeah.
I mean, even the cinematics on the PlayStation 2 for Jak and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank were really good. I was playing the PS3 remakes of all 3 of the Ratchet and Clank games, like the first 3, Up Your Arsenal and Going Commando, which my friend pointed out to me, every Ratchet and Clank game sounds like a bad porno.
You had to have that pointed out to you? That was literally the point of every title.
I never thought of it that way. I just, when I was a kid, they were just really fun to play, so.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Don't throw my pen.
Like
I spent $0 on that pen. Don't you dare.
I didn't even care about what the third title was. Because my brother used to subscribe to the PlayStation magazine and would get the PlayStation 2 demo disc. And Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal was on it, and I thought it was called Up Your Anus. So
Happens.
I don't know whether to make fun of Richie for being 8 or just understand this is Richie's dyslexia and just move on from the topic.
What's your next one? Did you have
I never got to a third one because I was thinking Warcraft.
What's up, Loot Crate?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Shout outs to Loot Crate.
for those of you who can't see Casey's shirt, he's wearing the Loot Crate T-shirt of Warcraft, where it's got.
I don't expect if like 1 or 2 people can't see it. I don't expect anybody can. But no,
I mean, there's a nice statue in the way.
But no, like there's a way to do it right.
yeah. I mostly want to see a reboot on that series because that series is like from my childhood and I loved it.
The Jak and Daxter.
Mm-hmm.
They're never going back to
I
that.
know.
They're never
we're
going
never
back to
gonna
that.
probably get a second
I
one with him
know.
again, which makes me sad.
What was the 4th one any good?
The
Thieves in Time, yeah.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed it, both on the Vita and PS3.
Raven. What's your topic?
Yeah, time.
Okay.
All right, cool.
See you in 15 minutes.
I talked about this on the podcast that the people will never see with Casey.
What?
What's our time at?
I don't care. We're at like an hour 5 or something.
Yeah.
We're at.
Wow.
Casey and I last week
We talked about E3 for a great amount of time.
Yes.
All right. It's good. It's interesting.
we talked about what was it? We talked about fan-made games.
Yeah, which you will never see.
You'll never see that, and I think we're gonna make them see this particular iteration because I really want to go back to fan-made games because I haven't told Richie about the fan-made game I was telling you about.
Right.
Go
ahead.
It's called Dragon Ball Z Team Training. It's a ROM hack of Pokemon where you go around collecting Dragon Ball characters for anywhere from the original to Super
Where can I find this game?
on my computer.
I'm playing that before I leave.
No, you're not.
Okay.
Because no, but no, I wanted to take a minute and talk to you guys. I already know Casey's thoughts, but I want to get Richie's thoughts. What do you think about fan-made games, and why
I didn't have that many thoughts.
you didn't? Why do you think companies suck about fan-made games?
What? Like, why do the creators just suck at it?
No.
I don't reword the question. Question because
Most companies don't like fans making games based off their IP,
okay.
and they don't like it at all. So they.
I can understand because they're taking your idea and trashing it, but then again,
There are some quality fan-made games.
there
though.
are some quality fan-made games. And I really enjoy some of them, but I will say that the one it's like parodies. Companies really don't like parodies, and you now have to get a license to do a parody film. Where back in the day of like Spaceballs, you didn't have to have a parody license.
Raspberry Jam. But no, I mean I don't.
I mean, I can understand why companies get mad, but then again, I can understand that they don't have every right in the world to get mad.
It's
because I mean, playing a fan-made game, honestly, for me, will make me want to go out and get the action.
exactly.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying when we recorded this the first time. Where video game companies, I think in particular, are smart to the fact that this is just free advertisement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna and I don't even think I brought up this point, but I listen to the acapella group Home Free a lot. And you can find, about 2 weeks after they start their tour, you can find their entire tour on YouTube. And they don't stop people from bringing in cameras and filming it and putting it on YouTube. Because I watch some of their shows, I watch some of the stuff that happens at their shows, and I pay attention to all the funny moments throughout the tour, but it makes me want to go more.
Yeah, for sure.
Because anything can happen, and that's the idea with Let's Plays, too. Let's Plays, illegal!
Yes.
Yeah.
But they're like, hey, this is not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
Because
Most companies do.
Technically, it could kind of fall into fair use even because it's transformative.
Yes.
But
Well, I mean, there are some companies like
Nintendo.
the company that puts out Dark Souls games. In Japan, Dark Souls got released like 2 weeks early than it did here in America.
Well, yeah.
And everyone was my friends were mad about that, and because people were putting Let's Plays up. So the Dark Souls creators were like, "Hey, don't put up any Let's Plays from this boss on, because we don't want to ruin the game for everyone else."
But in that regard, if people are watching those videos, it's their fault.
Exactly. And I mean,
I don't know.
It's a twisted world we live in. So I mean, really anything can happen. Fan-made games or Let's Plays, but
I don't know. Nintendo's, and the biggest thing is that people I was watching one of the YouTubers I watch. He was talking about how
Surprise, surprise.
I watch a lot of them.
You were watching one of the YouTubers you watch.
I always say that, and I have no idea why. I was watching.
America.
Yeah, I was watching one of the guys, and he was talking about how, because he personally knows a couple of the guys at Nintendo, and he's.
Jesus.
You okay?
No.
I just shout that name.
Ever since I can remember, and I'll let you get back to your statement. I'm gonna let you finish. Okay.
But first.
But to everybody who has ever said, "Your eyelashes are so long, they're so beautiful,"
It's a curse.
read between the lines, all right? Because it is terrible. It's terrible. Go ahead. Just won't quit.
I remember what I was saying. Let me get back to my thought.
Guys at Nintendo.
Yeah. They don't care if people are making Let's Plays. It's whenever people make game movies and just don't make any comments on it and just put the story up on the internet for people to watch. Because Sakurai, the creator of Smash Bros, talked about it. He's like, that's why we didn't make another Subspace Emissary, because we put all this time into it and people just watched it online instead of buying the game and playing it. They're like, they spoiled themselves the story instead of buying it. But I don't know, man.
I did both.
I mean, yeah, and I think Richie's a good example of, he already knows the ending to Uncharted. He watched it as soon as it came out.
Actually,
I
I
wasn't.
watched it when you put your post up on Facebook about it. That's when I watched it.
But either way, he's still playing it and he's still having a great time.
I am. I'm having a...
Granted, at the point in the story he's in, he would be curled up in a corner crying right now, probably,
Yeah.
if he didn't know the ending, which is a testament to how good the story is, which the story might not be that good according to a couple users on the internet, but
Screw the internet, man.
no,
It's the experience.
this guy wrote into the Giant Bombcast apparently, and pointed out some shocking similarities between Uncharted 4: A Thief's End and National Treasure 2: Book of Secrets.
Really?
And it's just a reminder that at their core, we think video game stories are good mostly because we're controlling them and we're feeling the emotions of the character. But Uncharted 4, one of the best stories in the history of gaming, in my opinion. And even at their best, video game stories are just a third-rate Nicolas Cage movie. But
Which even
that doesn't make them any less.
Sometimes Nicolas Cage movies are like second-rate Nicolas Cage movies. Like,
Not all Nicolas Cage movies are bad. I
said some. But no, I mean, I understand why people get upset about their IPs getting taken, but if the creators are doing it because they enjoy their franchise and they're not making money off of it, I don't think it's a bad thing personally. But
especially when it's out there for free.
Exactly. It's like they're not making money off of it, so why sue them on money that they're not making?
Yeah. I mean, okay, so on the topic of and I really like how well these have blended together today. That's just luck.
Yeah.
But on the topic of fan-made stuff, I was today in Cracker Barrel as I was working.
As you do.
Yeah, and don't worry, the picture I'm about to show them, I will put on here. But I noticed something funny about one of our Pez trays, and I want you to look at it, and then I'll have you look at it. All right?
I was actually gonna say let Raven see it first. Then.
One of these things is not like the other.
What is?
So
Yeah.
Don't explain it.
I know.
that one.
Yeah, I know it is.
What's wrong here? Right? No, like it's just there, and there's not even any other one like it.
There's also an Iron Man in the back.
Well, yeah, but
He's also Marvel.
Iron
yeah.
Man's also Marvel,
Let me
also
look at that
Avengers.
again. Hold on.
Also, are these Pez dispensers?
No, they're not Pez. They got
They're lollipops.
Yeah, they got Tootsie Pops, I think, inside of them, or lollipops, one of the
Which is real
two.
neat.
But
I mean, he is one of the biggest icons in the comic book.
right, I'm just saying the rest of them are all Marvel. But
Yeah.
either way,
Well, I mean, there's a Superman thing in the back.
no, that was a different thing.
That's
though.
a different.
was that different?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a completely different thing. That actually was Pez. But, so I started walking around and saying things to myself like, Dear Diary, Day 27. The young one and the green one still have no idea. And like...
Of course, Tony knows it though.
Yeah, Tony's figured it out, which is why he's in the back. But...
I'm distancing myself as much as I
No,
can.
I thought this through. No. But then all of a sudden it hit me. I have a great idea for a Batman novel. Now, a few years ago, when I was in 8th grade to be exact, I read a book about the zombie apocalypse called, it comes back around, called Day by Day Armageddon. Have you ever read it?
It's on my list to read.
It's really good, and I'm sad that I never got to finish the series, but essentially, it's this guy's journal as the zombie apocalypse happens. So it starts off with like, hey, dear diary, I had an interesting work today. Things happen. Heard on the news there's like some virus or something. And then it slowly progresses to, I am in a military bunker. I'm hearing shots coming from the other side. I think it's one of the other, like, you know, it slowly progresses to that. And it's like, I walked in. There's a guy. Apparently he used to be a zombie, but he also used to be a guard here. He's been shot. The radio is playing The End of the World as We Know It on a loop. That was one moment that stuck with me for a long time.
Wow, that is...
Yeah.
Wow. I'm gonna have to get the rest of the series for your birthday.
Yeah, it really is very good. But that's so copyright. So much copyright in what you just did.
I know.
So
luckily I was
I
talking
just
about
told him that I was gonna get that for him for his birthday. Next year, we're taking him to the Newport Aquarium and we're gonna try to get him into the penguin area.
I know they do it at the Chicago one.
Then we're going to Chicago.
We're in Chicago. I don't care.
Casey's
No,
gonna hug a
that,
penguin.
and that's what I was telling him, and I'll get back to my point in a minute. But you brought up penguins. We're going to talk about penguins, all right? I was telling him I either haven't cried in 3 years or 3 months. I'm not sure which.
6 months.
I think 3 and 3 kind of sounds
Yeah,
better.
3.
And I don't remember exactly when it was, but because I can cognizantly remember, I think the last time I cried, but there was also a situation a few months ago where either I woke up and cried hysterically or I had a dream that I cried hysterically. And either way,
What time was it again?
it was like probably 3, 4 in the morning.
There's the other 3.
Yeah, there's the other 3. But I don't cry often.
Yeah, no.
If I get to hold a penguin, I might burst into tears.
Yes. That's perfect
but
video reaction.
I started thinking about
Is it not? Making dreams.
making dreams. That's good.
No,
There's one.
We talked about our. We talked that we kind of brought that up when I told Raven, I was like, we need to go to Disney World, and he was like, we're gonna call it "Making Dreams Come True." I was
Yeah.
like, that's awesome.
that was me.
So I can't take full credit.
He
for that
he
one.
remembered it.
Yeah,
He
I
remembered
forgot.
that
I
was-
forgot. That's the thing.
I can't take credit.
You
for
were
that.
like, "That's a great idea."
Yeah, I was like, that's such a good idea. And you're like, you did it. I was like, oh yeah.
I did a thing.
I couldn't take credit for that.
No,
one.
but okay. So I started thinking about Day by Day Armageddon, and I realized I have the best idea for a Batman novel. And at first, this is going to sound kind of stupid. Okay.
That's what we do here.
Oh no.
But I'm going to insert a twist into it
Okay.
that is going to make it the greatest idea. First of all, it's Batman's diary. All right? No, so every day what he does, we experience it through his thoughts,
Yes.
his brain, his eyes. And then further iterations in this series could be the same story from the Joker's perspective
Yeah.
or Harley's perspective or whatever.
Mr. J.
I hope to God you're not going where I'm going with this.
No, I just had an insert of the diary. Dear diary, Clark just told me his mom's name is Martha. I miss my mom Martha too.
No, okay, because here's the thing though, because that sounds okay. That sounds like an okay idea.
Yeah.
But there's one part of it I think that turns it from an okay idea to an extraordinary idea, and that is this. No, it's not even a joke. It's very legitimate. Instead of titling anything like Dear Diary or Dear Journal, he starts off everyone with Dear Dad. And he writes his journal to his dad so he can feel like his dad's watching over him. And that's a Bruce thing, right? No, is that not the best idea?
I actually want to add on to that.
Do it.
So we know the whole I've told you about this multiple times, but Flashpoint,
Yeah.
where the Flash runs back in time.
Matter of fact, you don't stop talking about Flashpoint.
Season finale. But anyways, at the end of Flashpoint,
I've been messing with this thing the whole episode.
Me too.
where he finally goes back and he fixes what he does. Well, before he does that, Thomas, who ends up alive because with him going back and saving his mom.
Is this mad spoiler alert territory right now?
No.
This comic's
Okay.
been out for a while, and
Oh.
the animated movie's been out for a
I thought you were talking about like the season finale of Flash. I was like,
No,
whoa, whoa,
no,
whoa,
no.
whoa, whoa.
No. But he goes back in time, saves his mom, and ends up creating this alternate timeline.
Yeah.
To where
As-
Bruce Wayne actually dies in the alleyway instead of his mom and his dad.
Huh.
So his mom becomes the Joker and his dad becomes Batman.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's actually canon. That's actually a thing.
That's actually a comic book, and it's a movie on Netflix. Watch it. It's called Flashpoint.
Everything's canon in comic books.
Yeah.
Hail Hydra.
Shut
But yay! I did a thing, but no.
Whatever, it'll be different soon. Don't worry.
Yeah. But at the end, when before Barry runs back in time to fix what he screwed up, Thomas hands him a letter.
Yeah.
Well, he carries that letter and he ends up giving it to Bruce. And at the end, we just see tears falling onto the letter because he's like, "This is my father's handwriting." He's like, "He wanted me to give you this." Reverse it, but send Barry back in time to give the journal to his.
Like at the end of the arc.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd actually that wouldn't be and give him a chance to read it before and then they'll walk into that play knowing exactly what's about to happen and he'll say Gotham will be better for what's about to happen
Yeah.
to me. That's actually really good.
Yeah.
That's surprisingly good. But that leads me to my topic, which I actually have a different answer for this. But that's what led me into my topic because I think that actually is a really cool idea.
Yeah.
Especially since he's writing.
I'm
to
gonna
his dad.
butt in real quick. There is something like that about Pokemon, weirdly enough, because like it's not like a based by story turn by thing.
Dear Pokey Dad, I'm Pokemon. I
Well, no,
I
because
have a turtle.
it's like it's known in the
Pikachu just wouldn't get into the ball today.
I mean, it's actually one. Well, it's like
He didn't want to go.
it's the same idea. It's like all of his things. It's like one of them even is like it's like dad, mom started dating somebody.
He's got-
I'm pretty sure.
he's
Mom
got-
banged-
What are you doing?
No, he's got Pikachu like.
I would have laughed if your phone actually had gotten stuck.
Dear dad.
Hello, I need somebody to take a cup off my phone, please.
I'm pretty sure mom is banging the professor. Yeah.
No, but yeah, it's kind of the same idea. Are you thirsty? Do you have a thirst?
Have some Granny.
I have to, no, God, I'm not having Granny's peach tea
but yeah,
or iced tea. No, I hate tea.
Mm-hmm.
One time when I was about 6 years old, my mom had something. I thought it was root beer. Took a drink. Got tea. Was very, very, very surprised. And I do not like tea now.
Okay, but your topic. Now that I'm done.
My topic is, and Richie does nothing but think of stupid ideas, especially while at work.
Yes.
And you are going into game design, so
Yes.
I know you guys will actually have good answers for this. What is the best idea for either an iteration on something or a new IP you've ever had?
Do you want to go first or you want me to?
Go first.
Okay. So I
Because again, Raven didn't prepare. He's like, I'll just be sitting here waiting on you guys playing my game. And we got here and he was to the tutorial.
I had beaten another game and then I had started that one.
Excuses.
But
I
shush.
beat on the door when I got here. Casey actually had to stand between me and the door because
He did.
Because you're annoying as
You were
all
like,
crap.
it was like knock, 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 knock for like a solid 2
no,
minutes.
it was actually me flipping the door knocker. So
What's your idea, Rich?
this was actually it was inspired in a dream I had, and I actually turned this into a 20-page short story.
Mm-hmm.
So a boy and his mom are on their way to a family reunion at his grandparents' house.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it turns out like shortly.
It's show related. I'm listening.
Shortly after he was born, the house, the room he was in caught on fire, and his dad was trapped in there, and his dad died.
No.
Well,
Sad.
yeah, it was sad. I woke up and I was like, this is messed up, but that's not even the messed up part. It turns out that his dad's spirit like never left that room.
Okay.
So they've always like kept the door closed and never really gone in there just because supernatural stuff. His grandparents were really big into that because it was his dad's dad and mom. So it was his grandparents on his dad's side, and he ends up going into the room. Well, doing that, it ends up because like over time, spirits started like boiling up into that room, like just dark energy in general, and it like ended up releasing on into the house just because he opened the door to go into that room because he never knew about it. No one ever told him. His mom just said, "Oh, your dad died when you were just a baby." So it was like he went off to war or something. She made up an elaborate story to go with it, but it turns out his dad actually died saving him from a fire that was started in his room. But it just ended up like creating a whole hell of a mess in the house. Like his aunt ended up dying and everything just because he opened the door because his mom never told him.
I didn't write it down once. I'm not going to write it down this time.
Fair.
No, I think that's a good idea. While you were talking about that, I also got another idea for my Batman story, which is like the last entry will be like, "Dear Dad, I know you're reading this right now."
That's where
They
I was
kind-
actually
yeah.
going to bring it up. I was like,
Barry's going back.
a man's going to hand you this.
Yeah.
Let it happen.
Dear Bad Dad.
Oh,
I know you're
yeah.
bad reading
A
this.
man's going to hand you this. Let it happen, which he will only see if he reads all the way through.
No, like
And has been handed this book
on the front that
It starts-
And there's your book cover and title, ladies and gentlemen.
Let it happen. Dear Bad Dad, let it happen.
Bruce would
Dear-
never talk to his
dear-
dad that way.
Read back, Dad.
Love Bat Son.
Better yet, have Barry hand it to little Bruce, and have little Bruce hand it to his dad. Either way,
Knock on the
though,
door to where Bruce answers.
you have one. You're in game design. Hopefully, you've thought of something.
I'm trying to think back to games that I really liked that never really got a sequel, and I don't think it's right. But I mean, there are obviously IPs that I have in my head that I do want to pursue. There's one, me and a couple of my buddies that are going to start a company as our capstone before we graduate. That's a game that we're all thinking about doing. Basically, my idea is it's like world's gone all to poop, and it's an idea for a story I've had for like since I was in like the 6th grade.
Right.
Basically, you split the country from like one side is like healthy and one side is not. Basically, it's like the West Coast and a little bit eastwards of that is not healthy. That's just for some reason as a kid I just really like that.
I just had a really racist thought just then, and I'm not gonna.
We're not
going
to talk about that one.
I was about to say Civil War related. Like I was like, oh, this is just the Civil War. The country's.
I'll tell you guys after we get done filming.
But no, I just basically it's like the world on the poverty side of the sick is like really like obviously it's poverty, it's bad, and basically it is bad. I'm not good at explaining stories, but the ruler of the east side has his little brother exiled to the other side because he was trying to start a revolution to try to unify the country, as you do. I this is rude. I'm trying to tell a story.
He had the same thought I did.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. The first thing that comes to my mind when you talk about one side of the fence is wealthy, one side of the fence is poverty.
No.
Please tell me there's a wall somewhere in this story, because I feel like
There is.
I feel like. Yeah, it's the Donald Trump story, boy. Oh man.
Great minds think alike.
I saw the look in your eye, and I knew that you knew. Man.
I was gonna say this is what happens when you get
So
elected.
so the leader of the East Side, Ronald Frump.
Exiles his son.
Timothy
Cuts off his son's arm, or his brother's arm. It's his brother. Cuts off his brother's arm, throws him in the middle of the woods on the poverty side, and's like, "You're done, bye." And so he finds the two main characters, and the three decided to start a merry band and head over there and kick some major booty.
A mariachi band. To those of you who haven't turned this off yet, we'd like to thank you for sticking around.
No, but it's just I don't know. I've always thought that idea through, and it's something I'm gonna write about.
Right. So I mean, it's sort of like if you think about the Bible, kind of the idea of Moses and the Pharaoh,
Yeah.
where he has this guy exiled or whatever, and then he comes back and it's like, yo!
Guess
Yeah.
How
Like,
we doing?
kind of like the story of Joseph
Yeah.
too, except Joseph ends up helping his brothers, and Mr. Frump's brother
Is gonna murder
is gonna
him.
murder him.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I was gonna say Moses helps his brother too.
How?
His
In
biological
what
brother
way?
and sister,
In what way?
leading them to freedom.
You
America.
America. No, but
We're patriotic.
red, white, and blue.
This,
Just spin it around. Yay!
but yeah, that's my
America.
that's my original IP. I'm gonna hope to do something with one day. You heard it here, folks.
That would be a cool game.
That would be a really fun
Yeah,
game.
I
Well,
think
it's-
it would be a cool movie. I think it would be cool.
Yeah.
I think it would be a great game.
Yeah. Well,
If
and the biggest
mechanics are
and the
good.
biggest thing is that I always was thinking about it being like a turn-based, but after seeing Final Fantasy 15 and what it's capable of and its 4-man squad kind of thing, I kind of want to.
Both demos are fantastic.
There's a second demo out.
There was the one you got for getting
Typo.
Typo, and then they released another one like a few months ago. Well, I'll show you it before you.
Everybody's realized something this particular episode, but seriously.
Next LP, guys. Please. Hi, Richie's feet. Why are you all...
My legs are really long and they're hurting. I apologize.
But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping to do something with it one day.
Somebody donate us some money so that we can get different chairs, because I'll be honest, all of the squeaking, all the well,
none of us
are not tall enough at all.
They're not tall enough. Two of us won't fit in them properly.
Okay.
I mean,
so
I wish we would have got that moment when I sat in it before I took it home.
Casey's trying to talk here.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, because
started the thought.
Raven, Michael, and Emily all just stood there and laughed and let this happen, because I sat down, and next thing you know, you just see me slowly start going backwards.
We're not gonna help you with that company gold. We're just gonna let you do your own thing. Trial by fire.
Exactly.
The floor was fire, and I burst into flames.
Good.
Okay, so this one specifically, I think, okay, this could be a movie series, could not be a game series. I think it works best as a book series.
Okay.
I think it would. I think it would work. Okay, so obviously I'm a movie guy.
Yeah.
Like I'm a visual medium guy. Obviously, I mean I'm in YouTube. I'm not more of a writing guy. But I think, and when I originally thought of this, the way I explained it to people is, I want to do it as a movie series. I think the kind of people that dive into book series would be a lot more receptive to the idea.
Yeah.
And because it would take a couple decades to get all these movies released, whereas books could be a quicker turnaround. But now I want to say this book series, the beauty of it is that it is not any genre. There is no set genre.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the series will be called Sonder.
Okay.
Sonder. Now, have either of you heard this word before?
No.
Sonder is the realization. Okay, so say you're walking through Walmart and you see the lady looking through the strawberries on your right in produce. To your left, you see a guy ordering popcorn chicken from the deli. There are a couple other people.
That is you. That is you.
Actually, it's barbecue chicken, but still.
Popcorn chicken is me. There are people in clothing. There are people checking out.
There are people naked.
There are
people in the bathroom.
There are people having sex right in the middle of the back room. There's a dude snorting coke.
This isn't the band room. Sorry.
No,
That's the wrong kind of turkey on that slicer.
Well, there goes that serious topic.
no. But so
Please get your hams off the slicer.
I was waiting for it. I knew it would come back around.
Continue.
How?
So sondering.
So beefy. But no, okay. So Sonder is, so say you're in Walmart and you see all these people around you, and all of the sudden it hits you that all of these are individuals.
Yeah. Happens to me all the time.
And each and every one of the hundreds, in some case thousands of people that you see on a daily basis, you don't even interact with them. And like this hits me a lot at Cracker Barrel too, where I walk in and I see a party of two, but what's going on in their lives?
For sure.
And each and every single one of us is walking through the probably the same amount of messed up crap that you are. They've got to have a lot of the same responsibilities as you, and everybody is living this unique and beautiful life around you, and somehow all of these stories have us here in the Walmart together, right? And so my book series or movie series, and I'll describe it as a movie series first.
Yeah.
Each one, there's a prologue to the entire series, and it'll only appear in the first movie/book. But the idea is, people board a 747, and then it's in the air, and then it crashes. There are no survivors. No, plane blows up.
Yeah.
Hits a field in Pennsylvania, whatever. And so, then
What?
One of the 9/11 planes went into a field in Pennsylvania.
I was like, dang.
I just happened to choose a field in Pennsylvania. But
I mean, that would be a moment in.
No, that's true. No, and part of me really wants this to actually end with a terrorist attack, but another part of me likes the beautiful simplicity of it just crashing.
Yeah.
Airplane failure, right? It's just crashing, and you've got the first class all the way back to coach, all the way, all the stewardesses or whatever, and each story will be about about somebody who was flying on that plane.
Mm-hmm.
So have one from first class.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing about it too, because everybody has their own unique story. So it doesn't have to stick to a genre. This is something that an author or a screenwriter could write for the rest of their life, because they do not have to stick to anything. It can be Nathan Drake on that plane, but he can be like next to the guy from L.A. Noire.
Yeah.
And he can be next to, Laura Croft or whatever. And
their genres finally died out. They needed a place to go.
No, so essentially, some of these will be, stories about dealing with addiction.
Yeah.
Some of these will be stories about what it's like to be in the public light, probably in first class, or running a successful business and getting into shady business. It could be a crime drama. These could be police officers, whatever. And the only thread, there's not some underlying backstory, which I would like for there to be, but I think it ruins the idea.
It ruins the experience. Yeah.
But the only thing that ties these people together is they all got on that plane.
Yeah.
And the last scene in every movie / book is them boarding the plane.
So the beginning of the movie / book series is the plane crashing, and then
the beginning of the series, and then it just keeps going, and that's it. And the end of every movie is like the first 15 minutes of Titanic.
See, you keep saying TV, like TV, or you don't even say TV. I think TV series would be perfect.
That could be interesting.
I think,
though, I feel as though you could run out quickly.
What I was thinking of is you could turn this into different seasons, and each season has a different event. So the first season is the plane crash. Second season could be a boat, like a cruise line, like sinking, rolling over, because we've seen those happen before on the news.
Right.
So you could find different events and turn it into a
granted that's straight up when you run out of stories or run out of room on the plane. But I think that's it's the series that, and if you get attached to a character or something and you want to keep writing that character, do it again.
Yeah.
You have so much creative freedom there.
Because you're not tying yourself to one story. You're tying yourself to however many people fit on that boat.
And I feel like, though, the thing about TV is I feel like that's a one-season show.
Yeah.
I feel like people aren't going to come back for a second season, whereas if it were a book series...
I think it would work best in books.
Yeah, absolutely. No.
I feel like it'd work better in TV than movie.
Yeah, of course. And
that's
I
why
wanted...
Netflix original, because, you get the 12 episodes out, or however many episodes.
Right. And that is something great, but is it something that they're going to come back to for season 2?
It honestly really depends on, hey, what are the characters like in this season?
They all die.
No, what?
No, is it consistently compelling? Yeah. But I feel like the one issue with TV is that it doesn't, because you would have to hire, because every episode is going to be a different genre.
Yeah.
So you are going to have to hire different writers for every episode, different directors for every episode, different camera people for every episode, an entirely new crew for every episode, which I feel like wouldn't serve it well. Meanwhile, if you have a big budget like for a movie series, that's a whole lot easier because series flip all the time in Hollywood.
And I can think of really 3 good directors for 3 different genres.
Right.
Give J.J. Abrams for the action, Kevin Smith for the comedic side, and Guillermo del Toro for horror /
Right.
suspense type.
Dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like,
I don't know. I'm tired.
no, I thought like that was.
Hey, don't cry over a spilled glass. I mean,
There's nothing that was
There's
spilled.
nothing in it, and the phrase is also spilled milk.
I don't care.
5 out of 10.
I actually had
would
a
not
friend
recommend.
who cried over spilled milk once, and I told her, I'm like, don't cry over spilled milk, and she hit me and walked away crying again. I was like, I'm helping. Yeah,
I'm
it was.
helping.
Do I know this person?
Yes, you do.
Tell me after this story.
Yep.
We're done.
But no, like,
I think that's a super good idea, man.
obviously,
Become a writer. That's what you should do.
obviously, it would work best as a book series.
Yes.
That's but. The part of me that studied broadcasting for 4 years and am involved in broadcasting right now, like, I want it to work so bad as a movie series, but you wouldn't keep that. And obviously there are some flaws and there are reasons it might not
Yeah.
work, but if you get the right, and it could even be one of those, we are going to attach an author's name to this, and we are going to get somebody to ghostwrite everyone. Somebody who specializes in this particular genre of writing. Although, if you could do it with one person, it would really show versatility, and it could move you on to bigger and better things. But I don't know. I like
Jack of all trades, man.
I like the idea that, you know, and please let this go past the first phrase. Before you start laughing. But I like the idea that a plane crashes and then these people were all living lives. And a lot of these people were in their prime. A lot of these people, you know, hadn't hit their prime yet.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that the only thing that ties these all together is right now.
Oh, man. Become a writer, please. Please do this.
I have really good ideas. I just don't follow through.
Same.
Procrastination.
Yeah, high five later. But, yeah, I think just become a writer for me, please.
All right, I've ran out of stuff to talk about. Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about? I mean,
So, okay, here's the thing. I was just about to do that thing where I was like, ladies and gentlemen, this has been, and then you did that.
And
Obviously, we all know that the podcast just ended, but yet again, Richie opens his mouth.
and talks about something that he doesn't want to talk about.
all right, I'll just sit back, have fun.
I'm licking my pop filter.
Kinky.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the 6th episode of But Seriously. The 62nd episode.
26th.
So, I will say, if you made it all the way to the end, tell us what ideas you have for IPs. We
Yes.
promise not to steal them.
We won't. We don't know about
Yeah,
anybody else in the comment section.
This is out on the internet now.
I do
So.
kind of want to see like what video game movies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
if
do
you have
wanna
any
know
ideas about what we
Anything
talked
that
about,
we
yeah,
talked about.
let us know.
Except for Donald Trump. Just keep those,
Yep.
just
Nothing
kinda keep
political
that one
and
out of the
nothing
comments
religious.
for a while. Yeah.
Just make the comments great again. Yeah, I went there.
Please get us out of here. Please.
For Richie Stevens and Raven Stabmiller, my name is Casey Johnson. Go brighten someone's day.